I can just be an angry memory in in 5 minutes.
Fucking Bob.
I could just be that piece of shit, and it wouldn't affect me at all. It would be fine. Cast Iron Brains, a Survivor 50 recap podcast that is declaring that the state of this podcast is long. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori is here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm far away from the microphone. And I just got home and ate.
Lori is far away from the microphone, recently home and sated. Tonight is Thursday.
I didn't say I was sated.
February 26th. Calm down, lady. 2026. You'll be sated when I say you are sated. A rare Thursday recording of the old CIB.
That's right. I mean, well, we record on Thursdays when we did the...
That's true.
During
Balls.
the college football Saturday.
Lots of balls episodes recorded on.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of balls. Not a lot of brains on Thursday.
No. So, got to get in the brains mode here.
That's right.
How's the week going, Abe?
It's going well. You know, as you mentioned, this is Survivor Week. You know, this is the 50th season of the show. On you know, when I said, you know, I was available to record all week except for Wednesday. You think that it has anything to do with the Survivor premiere, but no.
You were going to a Metallica concert.
I went to a concert. It wasn't Metallica. It was some Indian rapper, like a rapper from India.
Oh yeah.
I you know, here in Atlanta, there's this the Buckhead Theater. Pretty nice turnout for a no-name kind of person. He has like one somewhat recognizable song.
There are a lot of Indian folk in the world, to be fair.
Oh, yes. And he kept on making a lot of references to different parts. Like, it almost felt like a factional kind of thing was happening. Like, hey, who's from this part of town? You know, everybody does it. The cheap kind of like, hey, who's from like whatever, the southern part of India, and got a strong reaction. But it was fine. I mean, the show was fine. It was just good to see, just to hang out with some friends. But that's what I did on Wednesday. Over the weekend. Nice early start to a gold medal finals, like 8 a.m. What time was
Oh, yeah.
Puck
drop at like 8:15 or something?
Yeah. And it went into overtime. It was like done by like 11. It was like a unusual slot. I guess, you know, the NFL, like in London, does that sometimes, you know, but it was very early.
Yeah, if you live in California, you get
That's right. That's normal, yeah.
What a spectacular win for the United States of America. Must be said.
Oh man, that was amazing. That was such a fun. Like, I mean, hockey is usually just an entertaining sport to watch, but whenever there are stakes, you know, and it's like either like a Stanley Cup scenario or a Olympic kind of setting, it's always fun to watch. I don't know how the U.S. Survived that third period where it just seemed like at any given moment Canada was going to score. Like, I don't know how they weren't able to score. And then thankfully the U.S. won it in the end. The 3-on-3 format, you know, I keep tabs of hockey very sporadically. Last time they did this, it was 4-on-4. I remember it used to be a 4-on-4 kind of thing. Like, okay, we're not going to go full strength. We'll do 4-on-4. Maybe that will, you know, allow a lot of scoring opportunities so that it ends faster. But apparently that wasn't to their liking. And now it's 3-on-3, which is bonkers. Like, it's like any given, like you're not gonna last 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, there's no way this could last for 5 minutes. And I enjoyed it just because, you know, we got to a conclusion. But I go online, there's a lot of all these you know, busybodies, all these hockey fans. They don't seem to like it because it's like, oh, it's too much like chance, like not unlike the shootout. I think they're trying to solve the problem of chance.
It's not as bad as the shootout.
No, but why don't they do, instead of whoever scores first, do the 3-on-3, but do like a 6-minute period? You know, like at least give the other team a chance. It just feels stupid and more like a coin flip. Whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
I like the format. I enjoyed.
It's fun. I like the 3-on-3. I just don't like that it's whoever scores first wins.
I think that hockey could go to the NBA is not afraid of rank gimmickry.
Yeah.
For all sorts of different things that they're doing. But if you did an in-season tournament or something, or just some sort of exhibition thing with 3-on-3 with 8-minute periods or something, that could be a ton of fun.
Right. Yeah. Just more gimmicks. I'm always for, even when it doesn't work.
Because it's not like you watch a defensive struggle in football, and I'm no hockey knower, obviously, but you watch a defensive struggle in football, it can still be a fun and exciting game. I don't know that a defensive struggle in hockey is particularly fun. You like the chances, even if you don't like you don't need the goals all of the time. You like the offensive chances.
I like the near goals as much.
Yeah. Also, what a save by Hellebrook or whatever the dude's name
Do you
is.
think he practiced that?
He sneaks the stick behind him, and it just barely glances off to save the day. Spectacular work.
What a good 48 hours for him. A couple of days later, he gets some medal, a second medal after getting the gold at the Olympics. That's a nice turnaround for him, specifically the goalkeeper.
I know that they'll just give those Presidential Medal of Freedom to anybody at this point, and for political expediency mostly, right? It's either a favor or it's political expediency for the most part.
Right.
But it felt cheap and unearned. As much as I enjoyed the moment with the gold medal,
was very much it was very much happenstance. Basically, the timing was just such, and the administration is just why not? Kind of everything just kind of fell in line. If this were the Summer Olympics, the State of the Union takes place in late January, February, sometimes it bleeds into March, so this fell right in the window of the Olympics.
Right. Where's Steph Curry's with the golden dagger?
Right, but basically enough time will pass to where the moment has passed, and they're not going to do it. Basically, they were just captured by the moment, and they'll just give it to him. And they have the FBI director for some reason in the locker room, chugging beers with the players for some reason.
Yeah.
It's they almost kind of commandeered the moment to make it political, just for their end. Let's glom onto this.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get more into that when we talk about the State of the Union.
Yeah. But the game was fun.
Awesome game.
I will say, I mentioned that I don't watch hockey all that much, but the last 3 occasions that I've watched hockey, it's this Olympic run, and then the last couple of Stanley Cups, and that Connor McDavid, who is an amazing player, seems to be on the losing end always. He seems to always be coming, his team comes up short even though he plays outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
And he has, I'm not accusing him of anything, but he may be on the path to serial killer status. I think his frustration, and he's got serial killer eyes. I don't know if you've noticed.
I have not, no.
Oh, just keep an eye on this guy in the coming years. If any activity happens in that Manitoba province where he plays, just keep an eye out.
Gotcha. It's good to know.
Maybe
I can place a bet on the prediction markets for Connor McDavid, future serial killer. We should get into the State of the Union, I suppose, because that's one good reason to be here. Did you watch the State of the Union, Abe? It was Tuesday night. It was basically a full 2 hours because you tune in at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it takes him 10 or 12 minutes to make his way through the chamber and get going. But official clock was an hour and 48 minutes, I believe, on the speech. But it was every bit of 11 o'clock by the time he was finally fucking done. And then I had to stay up for 15 minutes and wait for Abby Spanberger to come on and give her democratic response. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. I watched the whole thing, just jokingly before the speech. I made up some prop bets. I set the over-under on how long the speech was going to be to, 81 and a half minutes is a lot. And he blew past that.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he bested his own record. He just likes to just drone on and just take forever for the applause break. Maybe you deserve 6 seconds of applause, but he'll double it. Just he'll move away from the mic.
Oh, he steps
does that thing.
Fully back from the microphone before the applause has even started, right?
Yes.
It's because it's clearly in the text of the speech, right? A break for applause. or whatever. And he just moves back from the microphone to bask in it.
And occasionally he'll comment on like when like the, you know, because this is in performance that we do every year where like, you know, depending on who the president is, the one side of the aisle will stand up no matter what the person says, and the other side will save it for like things that they can agree on.
Yeah.
And Trump throughout the whole speech just kept on commenting on when the Democrats would stand versus when they wouldn't. Oh, you stood up that one time. Oh, what's that about? Like he'll just keep commenting on his own speech.
You're not standing, you're a loser.
Yeah, that. And then, he would say things like that. I can't believe you wouldn't do that. Like, you know, you won't stand.
It's a reminder of how good he is at this in certain ways. And the thing that I was reminded of also throughout, because I haven't watched him do one of these long rambling things in quite a while, he's so fucking weird. And like you get so accustomed to his weirdness that you forget just how weird he is. But he is, and has sort of always been, this person who is doing live commentary as the talk radio host of his own life as it's going on, right? Like he's always doing meta commentary of the thing as it's happening. Like he's the color man of the State of the Union.
And he'll sometimes will say that it's as if he's like analyzing, commenting on his own speech. Like sometimes he's like, "Oh, that's an interesting word." Like, what do you mean?
Most of his digressions off the page are just, "Oh, you know what? That's true, actually." Like and then he goes for 3 or 4 sentences in some other direction.
Right. There are when he does this, there are certain revealing tells about who Trump is. I noted 2 of them. One, he mentioned something about Trump account. You know, like, oh, things are improving. Trump account. Go to this website.
And I didn't even name it.
Yeah, and then he makes sure to point out that he did not name it. Someone else, some like lanky person, he pointed to that the camera didn't follow. But like that is such a Trump thing.
Do you think that is because I fully believe that he didn't name it.
Right.
But isn't it like it's screamingly obvious that the person who brought it to Donald Trump and said, "Look, we're going to put all of this money in these accounts for new babies, and we can call it Trump accounts." And it's like, it's not that you didn't name it. It's that the bootlickers around you know that if they just call it the Trump account, you will like it. Right. Like that's the thing that gets lost when you say, "I didn't even name it." Right. Well, I mean, he doesn't. But I also think, like part of what he gets off on, is that level of sycophancy. Yes. Right. Like it's not like he's not humbled by the fact that they wanted to name it the Trump account and the Trump Kennedy Center and the Trump whatever the fuck. It's look at what I can make these dumbasses do. Right.
He also gets off on describing violence, apparently.
Yeah, we're going to get in. I got a clip for that.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's very big on that.
What was the second time?
So the second thing, which is even more, I think, revealing, and why I think it undercuts. I do agree that he doesn't explicitly say like name it after me. Like he creates the expectation, and then people around him, follow. Similarly to like he probably doesn't explicitly tell the cabinet secretaries, effusive praise is what's needed here. Like they know what's expected. So when the cameras are there for their big meeting, all of the cabinet secretaries, they start giving him praise. So like he could say, "Oh, I didn't tell him to do that," which may be like literally true, but he has set the expectation. And similarly to naming everything after him and having his picture everywhere, like as if it were like Kim Jong, whatever.
What was that? Was that what building was that? DOJ?
It was. I think it's multiple buildings now, but I think the latest one is.
But they unfurl this like 40-foot tall banner with the it is. It's just like in North Korea. Right. Yeah. It's just the portrait of the president with like big words underneath it. Right. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? But imagine. I mean, it's so dumb. But like, imagine if Barack Obama.
Literally, at this point, you can basically insert anybody, like Republican or Democrat, any like past. Like it just seems very like beneath the office to do it. You know, like he's kind of using the 250 as a pretext for some of this stuff. But like, It's not like he's peppering in a bunch of presidents. It's just like him, and I'll throw in like a Lincoln once in a while. But like, it's mostly him, which is, odd. But near the end, there were so many like shout outs and I'm going to give a medal to this person. I'm going to give a medal to that person. Near the end, he gave like a medal to somebody who was like 100. Like he's barely alive. This poor fella. I don't know what goes into, just as a brief aside, I don't know what goes into making these selections, but this guy must be miffed. I'm sure he's, honored to receive it, but they couldn't have planned on him being alive at 100. Like this is like, he was passed over multiple times.
There were two centenarians who were honored that night. The one who could barely stand, who was seated next to Melania, but the other 100-year-old guy, the World War II vet, although I suppose they both were, but the first World War II vet who was standing up behind Melania was in great fucking shape.
Yeah, I know, right? He kept on,
for a guy who's 100 or right at nearly 100, looked amazing.
He looked amazing. But okay, so just real quick, near the end, he gives like a medal related to some military kind of thing, right? And everybody applauds. It's a nice moment. And as he transitions to his next topic, before he gets to the next topic, he says something. He's doing his commentary. Like he said something along the lines of like, I tried to get that medal for me, but they told me that I'm not eligible for it. Like just a weird thing that he threw out there, and that is like such a Trump thing. Like he wants the thing. Like whether it's the Peace Prize, whether it's like he wants the thing. And when you tell him you have to be served in the military, I'm sure I will bet you 100%. $100 that he said, I'm the commander-in-chief. What do you mean? I am the military. Like, why wouldn't I be eligible? Like, I'm sure he's made that case to whomever, like, lawyer is telling him, like, you can't get this award, guy. What's the matter with you? But that was the second one where I was like, oh, this guy is very, like, this is a telling thing about him.
Well, as he's walking out, you can see all of the goofball Republicans clamoring to get an autograph or get their selfie taken with him or get a signature. And he's like, over and over again, I'm hearing on the audio feed, and it's just humiliating because you can overhear these people, but it's just like, it's like, absolutely a home run, sir. Spectacular speech. Such a home run. The greatest home run. Can I get you to sign my tie? Look, it's a Trump tie. Can you, just an initial right here on the bottom of the tie, sir? It's like, it should be humiliating to these people.
Yes.
Like it should be humiliating, sort of at a very baseline level,
right?
But then they go and they just go right to their knees for the bootlicking, and it's really quite disturbing.
But I bet you they get a lot of traction with their, like they'll turn that around. Obviously they'll drop that embarrassing audio. So they'll do the still picture or like the signed tie, and they'll go to their base and they'll say, "I'm in lockstep with the president or whatever," and he's approving this. Like they'll get something in return for all of this humiliation. It's not free humiliation.
And I said he's good at this, and I think that is worth acknowledging. That like this particular thing, holding court in front of all of these assholes who the country roundly despises,
right?
Like, is it just as a general rule, is people don't like politicians, and just riffing on the thing that's in front of him, like the actual text of the speech is almost entirely beside the point, and you can tell in the way that he delivers it. And it's always this way when he gives these big speeches. He is bored out of his mind by whatever bullshit rhetoric they've plugged into this speech. Right. The thing that he's getting off on is the theatrics of it, is the performance of it and the commentary on it. Right. And just his ability to command the room in that way cannot be understated.
Right. No, you're exactly right. And I do think that the speech was immediately forgettable, which is, again, besides the point. I did think that I was actually surprised that he pulled his punches when it came to the Supreme Court. Like the way the speech was worded, it was, they took a lot of the bite that I thought they were going to get to. Basically, they're saying like disappointed. That's not a Trump word. Disappointed. Like what is that? that's a speech word. That's not a Trump word. They kept on saying that, and like we'll find other legal authority.
Which, by the way, just to be clear, the thing that is argued for in the text of the State of the Union speech, and he said, is exactly the opposite of what they said when they were presenting to the court, which was specifically these the legal framework that justifies these does not apply to what we're trying to do here, which is why we need the authority over here in this hand to do what we want to do. And the Supreme Court says, no, you can't do it over in this hand. And then the Trump people turn around and write a speech that says, okay, so we're going to do it with the thing that we argued in front of the court does not apply.
Right.
And it was ballsy, I think, and just briefly on that, is it last Friday, I guess, Thursday or Friday, that the tariffs decision came down.
Yeah.
And they said the tariffs overwhelmingly are bogus and they need to stop. And his response, besides calling the conservatives who were on the wrong side of this by his measure, I forget the exact terms that he used, but they're stupid idiots who are on the wrong side of the country, basically. Yeah. He didn't quite call them traitors, but that was sort of the direction he was going in. And then they immediately turn around and say, no, we're going to do 10-15% tariffs on everybody again, just right away, right back at it. I don't know how big a deal that is from a constitutional perspective. I don't think we're in crisis mode here, but it is interesting that the very day or the next day after that ruling comes down, the immediate thing is to turn around and defy it, basically.
I mean, it seems like they think that they can try to play a game of whack-a-mole, even though in court that won't hold. I don't know if it's just for the political audience and not for the judges. Maybe they think they're going to lose anyway, so they're let's just try this for a few more months.
This is the one thing in terms of domestic policy that he's always believed, that tariffs are a terrific tool for the federal government to use. And then he says we're going to eliminate the federal income tax in favor of tariffs on the long run. We're going to go back to a pre-1920 or 1919 or whenever we got the federal income tax world. And just ignoring the reason that we got away from the tariff system is because of exactly what he's doing with it, which is to play favors and to have people come and do special pleading before him because of it's a tool of corruption. It's a tool that hides behind. It's something that hides behind the bureaucratic process in a way that the income tax fundamentally is supposed to be more fair and does not.
Are you saying that Donald Trump is not a student of history?
Yeah.
Oh.
What's weird is that this is definitely something that he is into, because this is such a loser issue for him. When he even brought it up, setting aside the applause that the get rid of the tax, the income tax got, when it's just the tariffs, there's hardly any reaction. People don't seem to be into it. They're just kind of okay, let him just kind of drone on about this, and maybe the Supreme Court will save us. But he is so into it, and he said something that was weird, which is we don't need to go through Congress for this, right? And so if you are that into this, you think this is a good thing to put America on the right track or whatever, you would want the long term to be you want future presidents to abide by this. But if you're I'm going to just pursue the executive order option, knowing full well that that's an easy come, easy go thing. If you believed in something, you would want it to be so enduring that it's passed into law through Congress, right? Because that's harder to get rid of. So if you're this into this tariff thing, why not try to get something done through Congress? Maybe he didn't have the votes, and that's why.
Well, he doesn't. Republicans don't like it either.
Right.
They can't even pass things that Republicans do like for the most part right now. Never mind things that Republicans overwhelmingly don't like.
That's true.
Margins are just too small. Back to this thing, which is that he's really quite good at this. The correct response to Trump, and I think it's so obvious, as far as the Democrats in the room go, the correct response is stone-faced silence. The correct response is no response. And that's so obvious when you look back at Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert a few years ago, standing up and screaming at Joe Biden, right? It's so obvious when you look at, even just going back to the You Lie guy back with Obama.
2010, the Tea Party years, yeah.
Right. You lose by engaging at that level. I think that, sure, you can sit there and smirk or whatever, but when Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar are screaming in response to things that the president is saying, you're playing into his hand, and I don't think it gets you anything with your own base. Like, I sincerely don't think that is a, oh, look at me, I'm standing up to the president kind of moment. I think it just makes you look foolish and childish and easily provoked, especially when, as everyone is chanting USA, 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 it appears for all the world like Rashida Tlaib is chanting KKK, KKK, KKK. And you can't say that for 100% sure.
Right.
But as I was watching it live, I see her mouthing KKK, and then I find out later that lots of other people also believed that's what they were seeing. And the nuance of, like, well, Rashida Tlaib, I was saying that in response to Donald Trump calling, being an out-and-out obvious racist and being a bad. Like, it doesn't matter. There's now video of you with the whole chamber shouting USA, USA, you chanting KKK, KKK. And so it doesn't matter that you're, like, if at the end of the day you're in your own moral ledger, you were in the right to identify a bad going on in the room.
Right.
Okay, you're on the right side of history, and now you're a sitting U.S. Congresswoman who was shouting KKK during the State of the Union. You already have, and through no fault of your own, all right, I'll say, through no fault of her own, she has a taller hill to climb in terms of getting on the level with the people who already don't care for her for reasons that she can't control, and also for reasons that she is perfectly in control of, by the way, right? Like, it's not just the way that she looks and the way that she talks, but it is, in fact, a lot of the things that she says that they object to.
Right.
But also, given that fact, just don't be provoked by him in that way. It just makes you look like an idiot.
I do wonder if there are obviously there are different factions within the Democratic Party, and there are different pressures. Because there were different approaches taken depending on who was who. So, like the Al Green guy does I'm gonna put up a sign.
He always does some stupid stunt, though.
Although
whatever.
this time there some like yokel guy came try to rip his sign off for some reason. So there's that approach, which is just one person and that's it. And then there's,
by the way, just on Al Green for a moment, he's got a sign. I don't think that's probably against the rules. But he's got a sign that says "Black people aren't apes."
Oh, that's right. Yes,
which is it's a solid offering, in my opinion. Like, for on the scale of protest signs, like, I love the simplicity, I love the truth of the matter, and I love that it is a direct response to something so plainly unacceptable that happened, like, out of Trump's mouth. Not truly out of Trump's mouth, but effectively out of Trump's mouth. So I am an appreciator of that sign, and also, if you're a congressman in that room and a Republican, and you see the sign "Black people aren't apes," and do you really want there to be video of you violently trying to grab that sign out of someone else's hand, where it looks for all the world like you are disagreeing with the sentiment expressed?
You're on the other side of that argument.
Right. Like, what sort of a dummy puts himself on the other side of that argument for the perceived benefit of, like, I'm standing up for my boy Trump here?
He wants the sign to say, white people aren't apes.
Yeah.
It's an anti-evolution stance, really.
That's right.
Just people aren't apes.
No, I didn't consider the creationist aspect of this. That was foolish of me.
The more you know. But so, that's one approach that only one person seems to take. Then there's the I'm going to heckle basically the president. It's been done before, and now two other members are taking
I would argue that like when it's Biden, like okay, like go for it, because Joe, like as dumb as I think Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert looked when they were shouting at Joe Biden, it's not precisely playing to his strengths in the way that it is when you go after Trump in that way. You are just delivering to him exactly what he wants in that moment. Right. And why do that?
So that's where I wonder if this is the case, because I think it's like, who is the intended audience? Like, who is your audience? So like I think the leadership, their plan was just to sit. They're basically gonna just not react to anything. Like this,
right?
Kind of
Hakeem Jeffries is just sitting there. He's not standing up and shouting or sitting there and shouting at anybody.
Right. Basically, like there's not much upside, because typically when there is a State of the Union or address to Congress, it typically the audience skews heavily towards the party of the president, right? Typically, that's how. It's not like a bunch of Democrats are sitting there watching Trump drone on for 2 hours, right? Typically, it'll be like whatever the party is. So, like, there's not much to be gained unless you're chopping things up for social media's consumption online. And so, I do think the heckling, maybe it's like, yeah, it's gonna look bad on Fox News. Will do their thing, and it'll look bad to that audience that doesn't like you anyway. So maybe they're like, we don't care what they think anyways. But there's a contingent within the Democratic Party that it's like, do something. Like, do you
something. Think that Rashida Tlaib shouting KKK at the State of the Union
not that.
Plays well to her constituency?
Not that. The other, the whatever, Ilhan Omar, like when she was going back and forth about like you killed people, or I forget what she said. I think that sort of stuff will be chopped up for the base. But yeah, I don't understand what the KKK thing is going to do. Like, because it's not, doesn't read clearly, so I don't know how you would spin that for anything for like advertising. I'm not sure how that would work.
And I don't see what is clear about Ilhan Omar's message either. I think that it is just obviously the case that if he's going to stand there and get off a good one about Somali pirates, you are better served to sit there and look at him disdainfully than you are to screech at him. Right.
This is I never understood the mindset of a heckler, like in comedy shows, in any setting, because the person that you're heckling has the mic and has generally the audience on their side unless they say something crazy at you, right? So like, this is a uphill battle that you're seeking. Right. And it's like, and typically they're better at it than you are. So it's like, why
in particular
engage?
This time?
Yeah, right.
Like,
it's like, it's like, why would you engage in a losing battle like willingly?
Right. There are comics who base their entire or like 90% of their performance on doing audience work, and it's like they invite these idiots to their shows. The idiots show up knowing that this is a guy who works the audience, and they make fools of themselves for the benefit of everyone else there. Like, it was dumb of you. And then Nancy Pelosi comes on CNN afterwards, in between these two speeches, and she's asked about, like, what did you think about? I know that the leadership said that you should sit there stoically and not react to anything, but what did you think about the shouting that was going on back and forth? And Nancy's like, I didn't hear any shouting. I guess maybe if you had some cameras and you zoomed in, there would have been some limited shouting. But it was one of those, like, mostly peaceful with the burning building over the guy's shoulder type situations. It's just not at all believable. And I know she's on her way out, and she's been telling these sorts of lies, these silly sorts of lies her entire career, but it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's also, again, in some ways, this is the sort of thing that reminds you of who Trump is. The lies are just hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
And
wait. So have they let illegal immigrants in legally?
Yeah. So he claimed that 0 illegal immigrants have come into the country.
No, that it was
since he became president.
The words were too good. The words were, we haven't admitted any illegal immigrants. Wow, good. That's how it works.
I don't even know what he's claiming there, right? Like, because it's obvious on its face, the claim is, that literally zero illegal immigrants have come into this country since my second term started, which is an insane thing to say.
Right. I mean, what's more insane, that or the 18 trillion? Like, I mean,
what was that? Like, we got $500 billion in 4 years or something in foreign investment or whatever.
Yeah,
and in just 11 months, I've got $18 trillion of investment in the United States.
I bet you some of those numbers, like halfway through the speech, I'm like, some of these numbers have to be accurate. You know, because like you kind of start to dismiss.
Well, no, you can say almost without fail, you can say that it is about a third of what Donald Trump has just said. Because he starts by doubling it, and then he'll give a speech a week later, and it'll be a couple of more billion or trillion dollars on top of that, and then he'll round into the final form, which is roughly 2.5 to 3 times whatever the actual number is. And of course, there is no actual money. Like, the thing that he's talking about is some fucking CEO or some president from some country comes to the Oval Office and is like, we are announcing the investment of $2.5 billion in the United States over the course of the next decade. And it never fucking materializes. Right. It's like jobs at a Foxconn plant that never actually opened. Like it's just total vaporware in terms of a claim to begin with, and then he overinflates that claim on top of it. There was another one, and like these are things that are written into the speech, which is part of what's kind of interesting here. Right. We're not talking about lies where he says a thing and then vastly hyperbolizes on the thing while commenting on the thing that he just said. Right? Yeah. We're talking about claims written into the speech that are false. Like, so an example of the thing that I just said is we've reduced prescription drug costs by 300, 400, 500, 600%. And the way that I heard it put, because obviously, like, in my head when that's happening, because I understand maths to some limited extent, I know that this is impossible. This doesn't mean anything. But like I heard somebody saying this week, so if my drug costs $100 and you reduce its cost by 600%, does Eli Lilly or Merck or whoever have to cut me a check for $500?
That's what they're doing. It's the Trump checks.
Because, like, what does it mean for $100 drug to be 600% cheaper?
I'm sure the speechwriter trying to make that case is like, no, keep it in. It's good. My favorite, just totally made up thing was when he said that we hit the 50,000 mark on the Dow 4 years ahead of schedule, which
right.
What?
And the claims about the economy are like, but like that's the sort of hyperbole that I'm fine with, because he's an insane person, and he's like, no, in the last 12 months, in the last year, we've gone from being a tire fire of an economy where you wouldn't even bother pissing on this tire fire, is what a disaster the Joe Biden economy was, to the greatest turnaround in the history of civilization, right? Like we're the hottest country, he said over and over again. He kept on
saying we're hot.
What does that even mean, first of all? But that's the sort of thing that you expect from him. What you don't necessarily expect is for mistakes and or lies to be written into the body of the speech.
Yes.
Like when he's describing the murder of the woman in North Carolina who was a Ukrainian refugee, and he says it was an illegal immigrant who did it, which it wasn't. Right. It was just a mentally ill I think he was a black fella. But
I think it was a black guy, yeah.
A mentally ill guy whose family had tried to get him forcibly committed a few times, and who the system couldn't fucking figure out what to do with. And because we have such shitty mental health situation in this country, and it's really difficult to get people committed against their will, even when they're fucking insane. But like, that's the level of professionalism that's going into this outfit there at the White House, which is how, by the way, you end up with official White House truth account or Twitter account or wherever they post these videos or cross-post these videos to, that posts a video of the Obamas as apes, right? Like there's no one at the wheel. It's just a bunch of idiot 25-year-olds who aren't doing anything close to fact-checking. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. Right. This is the State of the Union, and he said something that's just wrong. Right. And he didn't say it off the cuff. It was written into the text of the speech that an illegal alien killed the Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina. And that's just wrong. And I'm not saying that that's an important lie, but the thing that I think it points to is just how poorly run or organized or like whatever mechanisms are usually in place within a White House are simply not there. There are no guardrails whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I think, and that was like my main concern with a second Trump term, because like the first one there were some guardrails and now there are not. I will say though, do you think the strategy will ultimately work? Because this is trying to paint a rosier picture of an economy that the general public thinks isn't going well. Like, you know, similarly, I mean, the Biden administration did something similar. Like, they were pointing to some indicators that things were going well, but people were complaining about like affordability and like inflation back then. And now people
he says the cost of beef is cheaper than it's ever been, or something. Or like,
yeah, right.
Like, and it's just not true.
Right.
Beef is as expensive or more expensive than it was a year ago and the year before that. Like, it's just he's telling false things, and you know that it's false the moment you go down to the grocery store. Right.
And so, so like, you know, before the speech, there were, you know, the talking heads. I forget who said something along the lines of, Trump's focus here is to help out in the midterms, like to make the case so that the members of Congress that are facing the voters stand a better chance. And he didn't really help them in any way because, again, he's painting a picture that's not accurate of the economy. So, like, to the people, they're going to say, what are you talking about? I'm not seeing any of these benefits.
If we were voting a week from Tuesday, like if this was happening now, then I think it would have had a meaningfully positive impact on Republican turnout. I think that it is invigorating to that side in a way that almost nothing else that he does is or can be, which is getting in the room with the Democrats and punching them in the mouth over and over again and looking like the big bad man. They love that shit. Right. But they won't get the chance to do this again in the third week in October or the last week in October.
Right.
And that is so long from now. Right. We are talking about this on Thursday, and it feels like it's been an eternity since the State of the Union happened. Right. None of this shit is going to matter very, very soon.
Right.
So, like I said, like I've been saying, he's very, very good at this, and it works for him. And I think the Democrats, at least in small part, amplified perhaps by camera close-ups, as Nancy Pelosi said, reacted poorly and to Donald Trump's benefit. Brief aside on the chuckle fucks behind the president, which is always my favorite part of watching these speeches, is to see how the Speaker of the House and the Vice President react throughout. J.D. Vance just makes this face the whole time. He is the most scrunched, like, because it is somewhere between befuddlement. Like, he thinks that he's doing, I am deeply considering the very important words.
Deeply agreeing.
That the president
thoughtfully agreeing
is uttering. The problem is that when the president is saying bananas, batshit, crazy things, being thoughtfully in agreement or deeply considering all of the things that he's saying just makes you look like a fucking idiot.
Right, yeah.
Combined with the fact that his deeply thinking face is very close to his befuddlement face. Like, he just looks befuddled the entire time.
Yeah.
And deeply unpresidential. And I don't know if it's the beard necessarily, but he has too mushy of a face. I imagine it plays better in person with JD, but he looks like shit on camera. Hello, son.
Hi. Who are you talking about?
JD Vance.
What are you doing?
The dipshit vice president of the United States.
Who are you?
I love you. Right, so JD looks befuddled. And then there's Mike Johnson, who just sort of, like, he just sort of sits there with this peaceful sort of beatific smile on his face the whole time. Like he just thinks this is the cutest thing, like a grandma watching her grandchildren play in front of him. And that's even as Trump is saying things that are in direct contravention of everything that Mike Johnson alleges to believe about the world for the most part.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by the performance, because it is in many ways a performance that they're putting on. There was a moment during the speech. It was like, another shout out, and this was the July 4th flood in Texas, where Trump was like, "Oh, I was there" for some reason.
He could describe it in detail what happened.
But he was talking up the pilots who saved all those kids. Nice moment. And Trump said, I think he gave the number of people that he rescued. It was like some number, I forget. But J.D. Vance had that stupid face that you spoke of, and he was like, "Oh." Like he's like reacting as if like it's the very first time he's digesting
this is new information to J.D.
and then he
Vance.
turns up and he's like, "Oh, good job." Like I like, who is this for? Like, do they review this the day after to get the leader's approval? Like, you weren't selling me enough, JD. Like, I don't know who this is for.
Yeah, and the Mike Johnson, like whenever Trump would scold the Democrats, he would have that look of scornful bemusement on his face. Like he's bemused but also scornful at the same time. I really hate these motherfuckers. Speaking of the aspect that you're referring to, which is this parade of American heroes or the world's greatest victims, this is something that goes back to the 80s. I believe this was more or less invented by Ronald Reagan. But bringing special guests and then shouting them out in this fashion. I think when done right and sparingly, it can be both effective and fine. When done wrong and overwhelmingly, like over and over again, it becomes absurd.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what this was with Trump, because he's not actually giving a State of the Union address. He's hosting a game show. Right? And it's come on down over and over again, especially when they're not even in the room. Right? Because he calls in, because God forbid that these hockey players would have had to sit there for 2 hours.
Or it's like he watched a lot of Matlock with the surprise witness.
Yeah.
Like it felt more like that to me than a game show, but yeah, it's a little bit of both.
And it's silly to talk about this in terms of the debasement of the office, because we're well past that during the Trump presidency, I think it's fair to say. But the whole thing was quite disgusting. And I'll start with the hockey thing, which I thought was actually fine. Like an example of doing this and it being actually quite fine that they're doing it. Let me see if I pulled up that clip. No, because there's nothing in particular that's interesting about Trump introducing the hockey team, except how long it goes on. Yes. Like it felt like it was like 5 or 8 minutes or something. And I did not time it. I didn't check. But if it was less than 5 minutes, I would be very surprised. Because the whole and like including like 2 or 3 minutes of just basking in the applause that was being presented to the USA hockey team. And then the sort of back and forth with the goalie and with the other guys who were up there. And that was all fine. Like you bring in the hockey team, you say how awesome they are, you give the guy the stupid Presidential Medal of Freedom or whatever, and then they fuck off. I think it could have been done in about a tight 2.5 minutes rather than the 7 or 8 that they devoted to it. But otherwise, like largely acceptable. And we can actually very briefly go off in a slight tangent here, which is the White House posted to their various social media feeds the following, and this was brought to my attention by a push notification from ESPN. It said, Brady Kachuk miffed over White House AI doctored video. That's from ESPN. It says, Brady Tkachuk, the Ottawa Senators captain and a Team USA gold medalist, said he didn't appreciate the AI-doctored video released by the White House that made it appear he was disparaging Canadians. The video, published Sunday by the White House's official TikTok account, featured doctored footage from a Tkachuk brothers news conference at the Four Nations Face-Off last February. While Freebird, the goal song for Team USA, played in the background of the video, Brady Tkachuk was made to say, "They booed our national anthem, so I had to come out and teach those maple syrup-eating fucks a lesson."
Fuckers.
It's just fucks.
Fucks?
It's fucks. He doesn't say fuckers. I mean, they bleep it anyway, but it's pretty clearly fucks, and I will play the clip here.
They booed our national anthem, so I had to come out and teach those maple syrup-eating fucks a lesson. Canada, we own you, lil bro.
All right, so that's the clip. He didn't say that, didn't say anything like that. He said, "Well, it's clearly fake because it's not my voice, not my lips moving," Tkachuk said Thursday in his first media availability in Ottawa since the U.S. defeated Canada for the gold medal in men's Olympic ice hockey in Milan. "I'm not in control of any of those accounts. I know that those words would never come out of my mouth, so I can't do anything about it." He goes on to say, "I would never say that. That's not who I am, so I guess I don't like that video because that would never come out of my mouth and never had that thought." And there's a lot of silliness around the politicization of this hockey team over the course of the last few days, including an article that was widely derided by conservative media types that was published in The Athletic, where somebody who used to work at the Washington Post sports desk was complaining about how these guys don't represent me or whatever, because and it's a shame that their politics, that these MAGA idiots are whatever. It's like, well, I understand being annoyed at The Athletic reporter for expressing that opinion, but it's also the case that, as you sort of hinted at earlier, these guys have been politicized by the White House and by the Trump administration in a way that is designed to provoke a negative reaction from other people that you can then point at as saying, "Oh, you just hate America."
Right.
Because this is just USA. What's your fucking problem? And I will say, I was charmed by the guy who had his teeth knocked out, and then went on to score the goal, and is giving the post-game interview, and he's like, "I love America. I love the United States. I've never been prouder to be an American. Blah 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 blah."
That's fine.
Right. That's all fine. And it's even fine, I think, to visit the White House, but you must acknowledge at some point.
That's the thing.
You're going to be used, right? You are going to be instrumentalized by this White House in a way that you likely wouldn't be in the same way. Like if a team went and visited the Obama White House, yeah, sure, some right-wingers would be triggered by that fact. But there wouldn't be a lot of, well, I assume that these idiots all agree with Obama, unless it was the NBA, of course. Right. If it was the NBA, then we would assume that it was all Obama fans. But like if Team USA Hockey went to visit Obama after winning the gold medal, nobody would have been like, or nobody reasonable anyway, would have been like, "Oh, well, these socialist commie fucking hockey players, what's their goddamn problem associating with this guy?"
This is similar to Trump going on Josh Pate's show and Josh Pate letting it happen.
Your boy, yeah, that's right.
He's not my boy. I get that you can't turn that down. And also, you have now politicized yourself.
Yeah. If we had an in with the White House and we could get Donald Trump, he's not going to do brains. All right, we've heard some negative things that you said over on the flagship show, but he's a big fan of cast iron balls and really enjoys the Jimmy Carter bit. So yeah, he'll come do 15 minutes with you. He's like, "Would we turn this down? Are you out of your goddamn mind?"
Did he get the short shrift? Like, was he promised an hour and got like scraps, like 20 minutes? I didn't actually listen to the interview.
I'm not going to listen.
I haven't watched it either.
It felt kind of short
because I don't want to. I
saw the timestamp. Yeah,
like I'm not taking a stand and say, "Well, I'm not listening to that episode." It's just that I really don't want to hear what that guy has to say about a thing that I love on a platform I like.
It's fine,
but for him to act for a second like this isn't a political move, even if it isn't trying to be, this particular president, with it, whether it's a hockey team or a college football podcast, that it's a hot thing.
I would like to transport your understanding of this situation back to May of 2020 when we started this podcast and spent like 6 straight episodes with me arguing that Donald Trump poisons everything and that like he is the primary he is the primary symptom that you can point to in which everything is culture war, everything is about him, and that like under the surface.
Yes, but I had something that wasn't.
Right, but under the surface of every conversation that's going on, in a weird number of people's minds, is how does this translate to the culture war and which side is this person on at this moment?
Right. And this is like all kind of by design. You know, in the past, there was this expectation, like an unwritten expectation that there was a separation of the head of state and the head of government as far as role. So like when a championship-winning team came to the White House, regardless of if it was Reagan or Bush or Clinton or Obama, there would be this understanding that, like, when you're visiting for this bullshit PR purpose, this is a head of state ceremonial role that I'm playing.
This could be anyone.
There's no politics here. The speechwriter come up with some sort of like funny asides to maybe poke fun at a player or a coach, you know, to endear themselves to each other. They take the pictures and everybody goes home. Like, that was like the understanding. Basically, I'm not going to have you as a prop behind me while I take digs at some political adversary, right? Like, that was like understood. Like, I'm not going to make this awkward for you. You'll bring your family or you'll bring just, you know, your teammates. You'll have fun, take pictures, you know, see the sights and go home. Like, that was understood. And that's no longer the case. Like, if you were to accept an invite or to the White House, or if he comes to your show in some diner somewhere up north Georgia, I understand that the trade-off is that he's going to make it political. Like, he's going to make it political to where you are having to defend yourself against attacks, and then you sound like you're him. Like, I think I saw some like clip of this Josh Page fellow where he was saying, like, all the negative stuff are like bots. Like, it's like fake. Like,
oh no, they're not.
Right, but he literally said, like, just about every real feedback that I've received was positive. If you see anything negative, that's some sort of spam or bot or some sort of coordinated effort. Like, this is like a very compromising engagement. Just engaging with Trump is compromising in itself. And so, like, you can't say, like, I'll sort this out, you know, we'll just talk about this one thing. Because, like, I think I saw a second clip rather, where, you know, Pate asks him about some college football related thing. He's trying to keep it on task, and he's like, "Oh, I like Gunnar Stockton because he was with him, and Herschel Walker. Like, aren't they great? And I like Nick Saban. Isn't he great? Like, basically, just right. Stick to the few things that you do know and go from there."
There's a reason that what you've just described is the case, which is that there is no separating Trump from of Trump as a ceremonial animal versus Trump as a political animal, which is that he has willfully erased the distinction between himself and the office. He has willfully erased the distinction between himself and the country on purpose, right? Like, to be against Trump is to be against America.
Yes.
Period. End of story. That's how it's how he operates. It's how he sees himself. It's how he sees the opposition. When they come after me, they're coming after you, the American people, right? And if you're with me, then you're for the country, and if you're against me, then you're against the country. That's how we get the apocalyptic scenarios that we're presented with during campaign seasons, which is he's saying that if Joe Biden is elected president of the United States, you won't have a country anymore.
Right.
There was a Stephen Colbert coffee table book that he put out in character back in the day, and it was
I Am America and so can you.
The title of the book is I Am America and So Can You.
Yeah.
And that is as good a summation of the Trump mindset as can be imagined, and it came out in the years before Trump ascended into this position, I think.
It was
well before.
Era.
Like that, there is no distinction between Trump and everything that he says, right? Like there is no way to remove the Trump parts of Trump from the office of the presidency, and he did that on purpose.
Right.
And that's why when you go visit the White House at this point, even though I encourage it, and I think it's fine and good for fucking Clemson to go get hamburgers at the White House or what have you, like you must acknowledge also you are likely to be compromised.
Right.
And that is like the evidence of that is in this AI doctored video, for example.
Right. Also, I mean, he had enough material to go off. You know, he had players wearing his either USA hat or the MAGA hat. Like they were doing all the PR for him, and that wasn't enough. Like it was this doctored audio, video clip that you just played. There was also like another obviously AI video of Trump himself, like scoring the goal, like they did like some sort of weird thing where he's playing for Team USA himself. But yeah, it's like you just can't take what you have without like doctoring it and like making putting the players in a bad light, because now they have to answer all these questions, and some of these players play for Canadian teams. So what now? You know, like it's going to be kind of awkward. But yeah, it is interesting how he has it set up to where like it's a referendum on America to have an opinion on Trump. You know. To be for him is to be for America. And if that actually is successful, if people actually believe that, then support for him becomes like this inextricably linked thing to America. So even if you decide to go against him, you can't, because you can't disconnect the two.
Right. So yeah, hockey stuff, I think a good deployment of the let's bring in a guest and celebrate them type thing. Even the old fellas getting the special military awards, that was fine. The description of the guy who was flying the helicopter to do the extraction maneuver down there in Venezuela, where he's describing the blood pouring down the center aisle. Like he was shot 4 times, and like 2 or 3 times he's talking about all of the blood pouring down the center aisle of the helicopter. I guess like it's somebody said that detail to him, and he couldn't get away from it.
Yeah.
But like even that stuff is relatively okay. Even acknowledging that like you are instrumentalizing these people, right? You are making a prop of these people for your own political end, and then like demanding that other people in the room stand and applaud them, or else be a failure in some patriotic way or something, right? There are other moments where that is deeply unappealing or unsettling to me. Like it makes me feel uncomfortable when he brings the trans girl, the formerly trans girl,
all better now, like
to the
you
State
said.
of the Union.
Oh, that's right. Is that the one with what's up with this? I know I sound old when I say this, but what's with this finger tapping? Like she did that thing. I keep seeing it. She did some sort of.
Oh, that's how that's clapping.
Okay, that's what he was telling. Oh, she's like at Liberal University now. She turned her life around, and she did that thing, the tapping of the fingers.
Yeah, it's clapping.
Okay, clapping.
So the story behind this teenager is, and she's currently a college student, but when she was in high school, she believed herself to be trans. The way that Trump frames it, of course, is the school transitioned her behind her parents' back, which is a disingenuous way of framing something that I actually do sort of disagree with, which is I think it's wrong for a school district to treat your son as a daughter and then not tell you anything about it. Like it is obviously something monumental happening in this child's life, and it is I believe it is the responsibility of the school, just as stewards, as caretakers in this child's life, to acknowledge to that child's parents that something drastic is going on here. Because whatever else it is or may be, it is certainly drastic.
Yes.
Right? And so, like, I agree with the general conservative position that you should not keep quiet or otherwise keep secret the gender transition of a child from their parent, right? So I will acknowledge that level of bias there.
Right.
But of course, Trump has to frame it in terms of the school was transing this child, right? Which is not the case. The child believed themselves to be a different gender presentation than their natural one, and decided to socially transition themselves. And the school respected that, and then didn't go out of its way to tell the parents. And as I joked to Lori, when
she's at Liberty, it's all fine.
Right, she's at Liberty now, and at a evangelical college. And yeah, I'm sure she's fine now. I'm sure this story is a story of triumph that definitely doesn't end in horrible personal tragedy at like the age of 27.
Oh, yeah?
Or something like that.
The future's not promising for this lady?
I'm suggesting that anyone who finds themselves veering in such wildly radical directions in a short period of time is unlikely to have found their natural center yet. Right? That the gravity has not been reestablished. We're just we're on some other different fucking weirdo planet right now, and probably there's a memoir incoming in a few years that is able to say, first I thought I was a fucking trans weirdo, then I thought I was a fucking evangelical weirdo. It turns out I'm none of those things, and I was just fucking stupid because I was a teenager. Right. Right? Like, that seems the most likely outcome here.
Right.
But also, I see it as a sort of shameful personal tragedy that she is being, not on the child's part, but that she is being traipsed out in this fashion to make cheap political points. And I'm gonna play a clip here from this moment.
Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
Do we think things are going to end well for this young woman? Like, and it's just
maybe.
All right, maybe end well, but like in the meantime, she's probably still not in the greatest place. And to make an instrument out of her in this fashion is disgusting. And it was something that he did over and over again throughout the speech, was to take people and just plainly turn them into instruments of political utility. Right. To the point where, like, when I think that the end of this, if I could find the other clip, maybe I'll drop it in here. But I think this is the moment where he gestures at the entire assembled Democratic legislators there and says, these people are all crazy. Right. How can you not applaud this? The things that you won't applaud, like a young woman going to Liberty University, prove that you're just fucking completely insane. And that was why he brought this girl here, right? He did it just to make that cheapo political point to say that his opponents are all insane.
Right.
And then he did it again a little bit later when he was making the mistake about how the North Carolina Ukrainian refugee was killed on that train by what he claimed was an illegal immigrant, but was in fact just a mentally disturbed American citizen. This is how he's describing that situation.
War-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zaretsky, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
This woman seated next to Erica Kirk, who he had also described the murder of Charlie Kirk in rather a graphic fashion. Right. He's describing watching a video of this woman getting stabbed in the throat and then bleeding out with the woman in the room, just to make a political point that doesn't even have any coherence, because he's talking about it as though this was done by an illegal immigrant.
Right.
It is just disgusting. There's no other word for it except exploitative and disgusting. And it was like that was a good half of this speech.
Yeah.
And when I talk about how, oh man, he's real fucking good at this, like you also can't get away from how thoroughly morally debased the entire thing is.
Yeah. You know, I can't really explain what's driving all of these people to accept this invitation, knowing full well. I mean, you know, and I don't think everyone's like political like that. Maybe they're not aware, but like to, you know, something tragic happens to a loved one, and then they're like, you know, somebody from the White House like, hey, we want to highlight this tragedy, and then maybe like attach it to some sort of bill that the president wants to push. You know, like I'm sure it's presented like that, like, hey, like this horrible thing.
I think there's just no accounting for the grief-stricken mindset of a woman whose daughter went viral because she got murdered on a train. Right. Like there's no accounting for her motivations at this point.
Right.
That's why you don't further victimize her by dehumanizing her and turning her into this instrument of political power. It's awful.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is very exploitative in that sense.
Those were the two most prominent examples of how terrible that is. But back to my thing about him being good at this, and the way that Trump has always been the radio call-in meta-commenter on everything. We know that the theater of the State of the Union is, what is Nancy Pelosi going to do? Is she going to tear the speech back there?
Right.
Are they going to wear? Are they going to be color coordinated in their outfits? Are they going to stand and applaud at this moment, or boo at another moment? Right, like sort of the American voter or the American audience of the State of the Union is sophisticated about what we're watching here in terms of the television product, right? What's weird about it is for Donald Trump to himself call it out as it's happening, right? Like to just pull back the curtain entirely and say what he said here.
One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
I won't have played that entire 90 seconds of clapping that goes on afterwards, but suffice it to say, the Republicans all leap to their feet to heartily agree with the statement in lockstep with the president, and the Democrats just sit there stone-faced. And he knew that was the plan, right? Like he knew he could have, like there's literally anything that he could have said, they weren't going to dance, right? And that was what he was trying to do. He was trying to say, dance, monkey. And he knew that they wouldn't dance. And so all he had to do was say the most anodyne thing ahead of that would be very easy for to say it's an 80-20 issue is to understate it by a mile, right? It's a 99.9% to did not respond kind of issue here, which is that the government first duty is to protect American citizens rather than illegal aliens. It doesn't matter. He might as well have said, stand and applaud if Donald Trump has a big dick and plowed your wife last night. And the Republicans would have all leaped to their feet and applauded mightily, and the Democrats would have sat there stone-faced.
Right.
So to that extent, It's just another example of the masterful deployment of this in a way that works for him if you're on his side already, I suppose.
But I think that's key, though. Like these sort of stunts that either side can pull work for that side, and the other side just dismisses it. Like there isn't like some sort of person in the middle that's won over by these kind of things. It's talked about briefly, and typically with State of the Union, they're forgotten within the week. But yeah, like in that moment, like whichever side you're on, if somebody try to egg you on in this way, the proper response is to not engage, right? Because there could be follow-up questions. Like if you're like, oh, let's just humor him and stand up for this one thing, then he would just kind of ad-lib some additional things just to see what would happen.
Right. All right, and then there was the part that I laughed out loud when he said it, it must be said, but it was not because it was funny, but because I was astonished that the President of the United States painted an entire country's population as pirates. And
there was a whole lot of anti-immigrant language.
Yeah, and it was
a lot.
It was largely unpleasant. Here's Trump on the Somalis.
The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where corruption and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games.
Setting aside the obvious fact that Donald Trump is the single most corrupt individual
very fraudy
that you can imagine. I mean, the entire second Trump administration is a long exercise in corruption, and I'm not like it is so thoroughly documented, and Republicans don't even bother to like bat away the accusation anymore. It is just a personal enrichment engine that he's running out of the White House there, and nobody bats an eye about it, right? There's no concern. He's trying to get $10 billion from the United States. Right? He's suing the Department of Justice for $10 billion so that he can then donate it back to the United States Treasury is his claim, I think is what he said he's going to do when he wins, because he just wants the W.
Right.
Right. He doesn't actually need the money. But like, so setting aside the fact that he's obviously the single most corrupt individual who's ever held the office, and no one can even begin to hold a candle to it, nor can you really imagine a way in which anyone would be so shamelessly corrupt moving forward. That whole thing about like, there are large parts of the world where corruption and lawlessness are the norm, and that's why we have to keep people from that part of the world out of the country, and then painting them all as pirates in particular.
Right.
Again, I don't want to be astonished,
right,
but I'm astonished by this sort of stuff with the eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. It is directly along the same lines as they eat cats and dogs.
It's Nazi shit.
Right.
I mean, it is textbook demagoguery, right? Like basically, and this is kind of like the theme he was driving at the whole speech. Truthful things, untruthful things are beside the point. Basically, the idea is the outgroup, the foreigners, they're the danger. That other side, they are enabling the danger. And here are all the examples of that. And I'm going to make up stories to support that argument. And I stand in their way, and I'm here for you. But basically, it's like none of this is your fault. It is this other party's fault, and like the criminals that they're letting in, and these incompatible cultures of corruption that they're bringing the corruption. Like this is like a very virgin and clean and like perfect place, and then all of this bad is coming in, and we need to stop that. Like that's the theme that he's driving. Like the whole speech is that.
I know we were a little premature with like the he's a Nazi stuff, but this is Nazi stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is Nazi stuff.
Yeah, and the thing that's concerning about it is is how good he is at it. And what is heartening is that he can't do it again, right? Like, he cannot be made the president again. We have 3 more years of it. And yeah, there was some of the usual, we have to end mail-in voting because if I lose, everything is a fraud. I mean, and always keeping in mind that every election result is a fraud. Whether he wins or loses, the result is a fraud, right? He won in 2016 and then said, the election results are fraudulent because I didn't win by enough. And then he lost in 2020 and said it was stolen from him. And then he won in 2024 and says that there was a lot of sketchy shit going on in 2024 as well. It's always a fraud. The goal is to diminish confidence in elections. But I still don't have the imagination to get to the place where Donald Trump is the president beyond January of 2029. Like, I don't think we're at that level of danger. So you're heartened by the term limit situation at the very least. What is disheartening or perhaps scary is considering whether or not anyone else has it within them to do this in the way that he has laid out can be done. And what's reassuring on the one hand is I think Marco Rubio would come across as a total fucking fraud if he tried to play anything like the Trump populist card on a grander culture war sort of scale. Right. I think J.D. Vance can do it, and I think he's deeply unlikable in a way that Donald Trump, in the exact way that Donald Trump is like a compelling entertainer at the very least. Even if you are horrified or disgusted by him, you must acknowledge the eye cannot help but to look upon him, right? You simply cannot look away when Donald Trump is doing this sort of thing once he gets rolling, right? Like, I get, like, okay, I can't watch Donald Trump anymore, so I'm not going to. But, like, to suggest that he's anything but a compelling figure is to tell an absurd lie. J.D. Vance is not that. Right. Like, even if he's better at playing the well-dressed alt-righter, right, the guy who gets too much weird shit from Stormfront and puts a more respectable sheen on things, but still is fundamentally doing blood and soil shit at the bottom of it. He's just not appealing, right? He doesn't have the dark charisma that Donald Trump possesses, and he never will. Right.
And it's hard to say who will, because, like, this is 10 plus years of the Trump era, and no other politician gets that benefit that Trump has. Every other politician is bound by conventional rules for politicians. Like, if there's something embarrassing, that hurts them like it always has a politician. Like, not Trump, but like other people, like when something like bad thing happens, it hurts them in the polls, like, and it hurts them when they run for office and they have to like do something else. But so no one that's like the next person like has that sort of pull that Trump has. So they would have to take a different approach. By the way, on this issue with this rhetoric around the stolen election thing, like, it seems to be like a pretext to take action. Like, what happened in Fulton County. There was I saw some, I didn't read the whole article just earlier before we started, some article at the Washington Post about how there's some executive order circulating around about how, because of the Chinese interference in 2020, this constitutes like an emergency national security threat. And so that gives the president the power to take over the elections that typically are run at the local and state level. Like, there's some sort of legal argument that's being formulated to try to test the water.
Good luck.
It's not going to work, but like, what if they take, the courts are pretty slow to react. Like, what if this, around Labor Day, you present this and say, oh my God, we have now more information. There was that raid earlier this year and we found some evidence. What that evidence is, we can't release it because of national security reasons, and we have to take action. And the courts will step in, but then you'll have this weird issue to where it's going to muddy up the November elections.
Yeah, I have no doubt he will attempt to throw sand in the gears and do everything that he can to avoid the inevitable here, which is the loss of a massive Republican loss.
And it doesn't even need to be massive, right? Just the shifting of power is basically going to render him a lame duck, right? Like if he just loses one of the chambers, you can't get anything passed.
Yeah, they can't get anything done. They can barely keep the government open from month to month. So like,
but at least they got the one big beautiful bill is what I'm saying. Like that possibility would not exist, and then he's like 82, and he's kind of tunes out. I don't care who's going to be taking over for me, blah, blah, blah. So like he sees that like this is basically like if I lose the House, then it's going to be chicanery for him the rest of the way.
Right. I wrote an essay, I think, for the Morning Press when I was doing that. I haven't gone back and reread it. I just have this memory of it where I said, I think the thesis of it was basically like if they manage to make Trump the nominee again, it will be the death of the Republican Party. That the recongealing around Trump following the summer raids on Mar-a-Lago was sort of an early death knell of the entire Republican Party. And that felt like I was going out on a limb when I first said that. I think it's less out on a limb now than it was before, because it's hard for me to imagine a party that can cohere in the absence of Trump, and whether he's dead or whether he's simply no longer on the scene with any meaningful political power. Like he'll still keep going on Hannity, right? And he'll still keep truth and shit out, I suppose. But like as the center of gravity for this entire thing, like how do you establish a new center of gravity for the Republican Party off to the side of the fucking sun?
Yes.
And you cannot. Right. And because when that sun explodes, it is impossible for something to take its place. Everything just gets sucked into it. Right. It will become a black hole, to extend the metaphor. But like I maybe I lack the imagination to do it. I think that's what you accused me of. You said at the time, like it'll be fine. Yeah. Like they'll find a way to hang on. But it seems increasingly clear to me that without him and without an obvious successor to him, in a way that there is no one that can fill those shoes and that can wear the big boy Trump pants. The party won't have a coherent organizing principle because they will have shuffled all of those out the door in favor of this cult of personality. And like, why even bother calling it the Republican Party at that point?
Do you think
moving forward?
Do you think any Republicans that are not in the administration currently are rooting for like a decisive defeat in like some sort of like obvious rebuke of the president by way of like Congress and the Senate? That way they're not.
It doesn't matter what they're rooting for; it's coming.
Right? No, but okay.
Right?
But the reason why I'm saying that is because like that would clear the path for them to take on a stronger posture against Trump the rest of the way.
Not as long as he continues to primary people, right? Not as long as he continues to wield the authority of his endorsement as a meaningful weapon. And it is, because in our system, the craziest motherfucker in the room can win a primary every fucking time.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think that all of a sudden we're going to get backbone out of people who have established that they don't have any. Maybe out of Susan Collins, maybe out of Lisa Murkowski,
maybe out of women,
but like not out of anybody who hasn't already shown that they're occasionally willing to stand in, not even stand in his way, but to just note how awful he is from time to time. Anything else on the State of the Union worth mentioning here, Abe?
No, not at the State of the Union. I will note, you mentioned earlier, I think it was the Clemson Tigers. They ate like hamburgers or whatever at McDonald's. But I believe that was like during like a shutdown, or there was some sort of a lapse in appropriations, or there was some sort of thing for that. The hockey team who won gold, like in Italy, like last week, they were also served like like fast food, which is like runs counter to I thought that the MAHA movement was gaining ground. The RFK Jr. eat healthier.
I like how you pronounce that a lot.
MAHA, whatever the hell, making Americans healthy or whatever. I thought that was odd that they still went back to the well of like, let's just eat some cheeseburgers.
Well, they're delicious.
There's no. I mean,
Also,
Donald,
that guy,
he's the least. I mean, there's a reason RFK is in charge of that.
He's a carnivore, he said. He only eats meat.
Well, yeah, but like he doesn't eat processed fast food stuff. Trump is among the least believable people who could stand behind like a healthy food movement. I mean, this is a man who drinks a case of Diet Coke every day and eats like his order from McDonald's is a Big Mac and a fish fillet of fish, and I think he skips the French fries to his credit.
Oh, well,
but it's a multiple sandwich order from McDonald's.
And he's about to celebrate his 80th birthday, so what do they know?
All right. I want to...
Late.
I know it's getting late. We have to do a little bit of... I'm a little focused on what goes on over at CBS, the news department there. Mark Strassmann being my primary concern most of the time. And I want to start with Mark Strassmann because there was a kerfuffle last week about the... Barack Obama went on some podcast and said that, aliens are real.
Oh, that's right.
And then he later clarified that, I haven't seen any of these aliens, of course. I just, based on the math, seems a pretty safe bet that there's intelligent life somewhere else out there in the vast universe. But the CBS Evening News with Mark Strassmann reporting here offered this report. Oh, and to be clear, we're going to find out whether or not senior national correspondent Mark Strassmann got off a good one.
We turn now to a three-word question that has confounded humankind for centuries. Are we alone? We may soon know, as the Trump administration is ordering the release of all government documents on aliens and UFOs. Here's senior national correspondent Mark Strassmann.
At night, when we look skyward into the cosmic dark, is something looking back? Former President Obama recently suggested, yes.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
Hollywood found extraterrestrial life decades ago, sometimes for cheap laughs.
Hey, he's back! The light giver!
But set aside the kooky factor. Polls show roughly 2/3 of Americans believe intelligent life exists on other planets.
It will be the most important scientific discovery ever. It will change the future of humanity because if they arrive to our backyard, we might want to visit their backyard.
Astrophysicist Avi Loeb teaches at Harvard. He points to the 100 billion stars just in the Milky Way galaxy.
If you believe in God, God is not a parent of just one child. We have siblings out there, and so you have to revise, to update your worldview.
Cosmic conspiracy theorists believe our government knows more than it's saying. President Trump said Obama spilled classified information, but
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
That will help. On a blind date with a cosmic connection, it's not enough to believe. We need to know. Are we alone? Mark Strassmann, CBS News, Atlanta.
All right, Abe, did CBS News' senior national correspondent Mark Strassmann get off a good one?
I did not note any good ones. I did enjoy the segment, though, but no.
Ooh, sorry, Mark. Try again next time. Shameful lack of good ones in that segment. It's, as usual, just ripe with every opportunity to find a good one, and he doesn't even try.
You think he's quiet quitting? It seems like Paramount is owned by the Ellisons, and now they own everything else apparently. So maybe he's slowly getting out, and his heart is not in it anymore. But yeah, I didn't notice. There are a couple of opportunities there.
I need to be Mark Strassmann's agent, and I am going to pitch to Paramount a new series. Strassmann gets off a good one, and he just set Strassmann free on America.
That's right.
To go get off good ones all over the place. Like a travelogue show featuring our boy from Kennesaw, Mark Strassmann. A couple notes here. One, 2/3 of Americans believe that there is intelligent life out there off of Earth, somewhere in the universe. Where are we on that question?
I'm in the 1/3. I don't think there's anything of intelligence out there.
Lori?
I don't fucking know. I don't like that it's... Who cares?
I have this... So I'm certain that there is life out there in the universe somewhere. I am wildly less certain that life is intelligent life, even to the mammalian extent, right? Like if there is another thing out there in the universe as smart as your average sea lion or hippopotamus, I would be. What
about the sponges that
shocked.
can I don't know. Why?
I think that in all likelihood,
how does this matter?
Consciousness is this vanishingly rare thing. Life, water, amoebas and shit, probably fairly evenly distributed out there relative to Goldilocks zone planets and all of that. Presumably, a lot of time, a lot of space, a good bit of life happened. But I suspect that the conditions that produced our situation here are basically zero. That we got incredibly lucky. But on a long enough time scale, it was also sort of inevitable. It's that weird combination of things where it's both vanishingly rare and also eventually inevitable.
I think to put it more accurately, I think it is more likely that this is a simulation than there are a bunch of intelligent life dicking around somewhere else while we're dicking around over here.
If it's a simulation, then it confirms the intelligent life elsewhere hypothesis, right?
I guess, yeah.
What's running the simulation?
But then that would reduce us to
on whose hard drive do we all exist?
Right, but then we would not be life, you know? We would be the alien.
Yeah. All right. That's not enough from the CBS Evening News because...
Oh, sure it is.
I mean, well, first of all right, look at this chuckle fuck's face.
Yeah.
What are they doing to Tony DeCopel? And I sincerely, maybe he rounds into form if you give him 3 years or something and he grows comfortable here. This is not what he should be doing with himself. Barry Weiss made a mistake when she looked upon the great expanse of CBS News talent and decided that Tony DeCopel was her guy, because he's just not suited for this job. And listen, so they have this segment. I suspect we'll be dipping into this segment from time to time here, as long as it maintains. At the end of every episode they go and they do, or maybe not every episode, but most episodes, they have the good stuff. Yeah. And Tony has to put on his best chuckle fuck smile and say, now it's time for the good stuff. And you get a story much like this one.
Back only in America with the latest chapter in our long and often laughable history of consumer lawsuits. You know the kind of thing I'm talking about here. There was the guy who sued Budweiser in '91 because the beer does not literally transport people to a paradise of beautiful women. Or more recently, the Florida woman a couple years back who argued that her Reese's peanut butter pumpkins lacked the jack-o'-lantern face on the packaging. She does have a point. But this week, a federal judge had more fun than usual with a case like this. A man in Illinois had sued Buffalo Wild Wings, claiming that his order of boneless chicken wings were not actually deboned wings, but were instead chicken breast assembled to look like a wing. Buffalo Wild Wings admitted it's true, posting, "Our boneless wings are all white meat chicken," adding, "The hamburgers contain no ham, and the buffalo wings are 0% buffalo." So, was this man deceived? Must a boneless chicken wing in a bar actually come from wing meat? The judge ruled, and he said no, it need not. In that 10-page ruling, he said the man's claim had, quote, "no meat on its bones," which is pretty funny for a judge. But look, if you find yourself tricked into thinking Captain Crunch is a real captain or Count Chocula a real count, I have some oceanfront property I'd like to sell you. It's in Arizona.
Oh, no.
All right, so that's Tony DeCoppel.
There's no need for that.
So I want to. So he says that the judge gets off a good one for a judge.
He does.
Which is fine.
Well, they're normally so serious.
But if you're going to disparage our nation's fine jurists in such a fashion and say, that's a pretty good one for a judge, you better be coming stronger.
Right.
3 seconds later.
Right.
Then I've got some oceanfront property to sell you in Arizona if you think Count Chocula is an actual count.
Yeah, the couple's proving why he wasn't the first or second or third choice. Weren't there some reports that Brett Baer, Anderson Cooper, and some others were sought out for this role, and they all said no? And they're like, fuck, who do we got?
It's so uncomfortable when you make someone who shouldn't be doing the thing that they're doing do it in a way that is not like within their wheelhouse. Right. And this is just not in his wheelhouse. And whoever they have writing him this shit, because this is not Strassmann level stuff. All right, you need to bring in the expert.
He probably
here,
writes it
I'm
himself.
afraid.
He probably does a lot of the writing.
I do not care for it, and I wish that they would stop. You've been listening to Cast Iron Brains, a podcast with Bob and Abe. You can find the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com. For more from us, the opening and closing themes of the show were composed by Mark Gillig, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com. For more from Mark. Abe, did you make it to the movies this week?
Yes, I went to the movies twice. I saw How to Make a Killing, which I think is based on a book or something. It stars that Glenn Powell guy, who's in a lot of movies lately. It's kind of actually it's an okay movie. It reminds me of there was a Korean movie that I watched a month ago, No Other Choice, where this family man was reduced to like having to kill his fellow job applicants just so he can get the job that he wants to survive. In this movie, it's mostly just greed. Like Glenn Powell is a part of this very rich family, and he's in the will, and so he's like, I don't want to wait for all the people to die for me to get the monies, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill everyone that's in the way before long. I'm going to be the only person, and then I get all the inheritance, and I'll become rich. And so basically the whole movie is just him offing relative, family members. Like, this uncle's pretty cool, but I got to kill him. Like, it's kind of played for laughs, but like, This is an A24 production, right? One of those very famous studio these days. Does it feel like it's made in the A24 house style? Is it becoming recognizable to you? It fits that mold. It's, again, a lot of it is played for laughs. It's okay. That's as far as I'll go. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's not.
Is it thriller at all? Is it like a comedy thriller?
It's mostly
or
like it leans on the comedy.
Yeah.
Just like him trying to do all this stuff.
I imagine how charming one finds Glenn Powell goes a long way to determining how much you'll enjoy this movie, right?
Speaking of charming, I don't find Glenn Powell that charming, but the other movie that I saw was Good Luck, Don't Die, Have Fun, or some variation of that. Sam Rockwell.
That's what I used to say to people at the bar when they were going off to war.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
Good luck, don't die. Have fun.
Sam Rockwell, very amusing actor. I always find him amusing whenever he's in some role. He plays this guy that comes back to the, from the future, and he goes to this diner, and he's like, this is the right combination of humans to like help me stop some child developing some AI technology that's the doom of humans in the future. So like I came back to stop some 9-year-old.
And this strange collection of people at a midnight diner.
Yeah.
You're the only group of people.
Like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trailer is delightful.
Yeah.
And it has the feeling of sort of like a 12 Monkeys turned up to 11. Like 12 Monkeys is a pretty goofy movie, Terry Gilliam movie.
No.
Anyway.
12 Monkeys? Oh, not 12 Angry Men.
No, 12 Monkeys. crazy time traveler coming back.
Black people are not apes.
And nobody believing them.
But
was it fun? It seems like it's an awful lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. The problem is it's a bit long, and in the movie, for the movie to work, because basically hijinks ensues because they're trying. Basically, like, we need to go from this diner to, like, you know, a few blocks down, and while they go to the house, they do the backstories of some of the characters, like how do they find themselves in this diner, and like it becomes this, like, it's like a bunch of like Black Mirror theme episodes. Like there's like this weird thing with these high school teachers and the parents of children who get gunned down. They get like replicas. There's like an industry that gives them their child back, but like in a replica form. Like, we'll just recreate your child, and you can just pretend your child didn't die. Like, I guess they're criticizing the landscape where people are getting killed so often. It's such a commonplace thing that there's an industry now to, like, replace your child with this robot version of the child. And so they do a lot of that. And so, like, that's a bit fun. But, like, at the end, they needed the child who has the skill set to, like, ruin the future with some sort of AI thing he's going to develop. He has to deliver at the end, and it's just this 9-year-old kid just play acting, like he's acting like he's God or whatever, and it just falls flat. Like, at least to me, like, that needed to work, and it didn't, and the whole movie just kind of falls apart. And also, it seems like, not to spoil it, but it seems like the AI tool developed one, because, like, it seemed like this whole movie is like a simulation. Like, the kid figured it out. Like, anything that you do to try to escape, you know, like go in the past to fix something, like, you're playing his game. Like, all of this is just his doing. And so it's like a futile attempt, and just, you know, enjoy it.
Well, I loved the shit out of the trailer, and it's the sort of thing that I imagine I would enjoy.
Oh, yeah. No, you would.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna watch it someday.
Yeah. No, that was, I recommend that movie. And then on the TV front, like I said earlier, did watch the 50th season premiere of Survivor, 3-hour episode, a 3-hour monstrosity.
Okay, but without commercials, how long?
Oh, there's a lot of filler. Like, probably 2
20
hours, maybe. You know?
How much Probst?
But, oh man, Probst was in his element. He is. So, first of all, the beginning, you know, they do this nice montage, you know, going back 25 years. The first episode, I realized I never watched the first season. Like, when it was at its height, I was like, I just know stories about what happened. I just never bothered to watch it. But they do a very good job, like, for like 3-4 minutes, setting it up, and then they bring you on the island, and Probst gets on this thing. He's doing these facial expressions, and he's like, all I want from you is everything. And he's making crazy eyes. I'm like, this guy is nuts, but very entertaining.
How much of this? So, I wonder how much of your enjoyment of professional wrestling as a child is directly tied to your enjoyment of Survivor, because, like, it requires, like, the kayfabe of Survivor is like just in the name itself, right? Like, I mean, no one's gonna die here.
Although I will say, another reason why it was such a great premiere episode. Leg injury on the first episode. This guy tries to jump and he fucks up his Achilles. Like, it was like fantastic.
Nice.
But yeah, like, it is. It's a whole put on. But
I've pulled up my prediction markets app here and just searched Survivor. I don't want to spoil anything here. The individual who's in the lead for most likely to win, according to this prediction market, has an 82% chance.
What?
Of winning. You get 1.2 times your money back if you bet on this one individual.
Oh, somebody must have leaked it. You know, they filmed this, like, over the summer, and they show it now. So this happened, like, in June or July. So
the next closest has an 8% chance of winning.
Yeah, somebody must have leaked.
So I have to assume that either producers are setting the market in very strange ways here. People who know are betting on it. So there was nothing. What I'm asking is, there's nothing in the initial episode that you think, like, oh, this person is a runaway favorite and is going to win.
No, because, you know, you can never tell how they go. There's this there's this theory that you can figure out who, the camera focus, because it's all edited, so like if they're showing one particular person a lot, it's like there's a reason. Like,
well, it's like you could watch, like you used to watch Top Chef, and like you'd find that an episode's editing was focused on one person in particular. It's like, oh, this person's probably going home this week.
Well, unless they did really well,
right.
and then they were
right. Unless they
win.
were awesome.
Right.
But like, if you got the sob story segment or the personal story segment, either this person is winning this week or they're saying goodbye this week.
I see. Gotcha.
And you'd know because you'd watch the episode.
Yeah.
Like, that person sucked. They're not winning.
It's interesting because like everyone else is at like 1 or 2% to win. And then this person, who I won't say their name because I don't want to ruin it for you, is at 82% to win the whole deal.
Yeah, that's wild. Although I could do without, they're doing all these gimmicks this year for the season. They have like Billie Eilish and others like working.
You love gimmicks.
So I will note gimmicks in the NBA, good. Gimmicks in sports generally, good. Gimmicks on beloved Survivor, no good.
They used to have good gimmicks back in the day when they had a larger budget. They would fly the families in, or at least one member of the family for each participant.
Are they strapped for cash?
You would have to win in order to hang out with that family member. If you lose, they ship the family member back. But now I guess they just don't have the money for it. They used to give you cars. Jeff Probst must be pocketing the money. Like, I know the ratings have gone down.
It's noticeable that they spend less money on this whole thing?
First of all, they don't even go to different places. It's in that one island the whole time. In the past, we'll go to Africa this year. We'll go to Cambodia the next. They stopped all of that. They don't do it. They don't even do the live reunion. They just do it on the island.
Shameful.
Yeah.
Lori, what did we watch?
Oh, we watched Little League Baseball.
Yeah, then the season has not even come close to starting, but we had our player evaluations over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was as good you could hope for in terms of the weather. I had this whole thing for the last few years.
Since we've been involved,
I've been calling for a reimagining of our player evaluation process to give us more meaningful data on these children ahead of the team assignment process. Previously, it would just be, hey, can some of you people show up and watch these kids do baseball stuff for like 40 seconds at a time, and then you have to determine.
It was, okay, kids, everybody show up at 1 o'clock and sit around for most of the time.
It was terrible. It was, we're going to have 40 kids here from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and while one of them is hitting, 39 of them will be in the outfield grass shagging grounders and fly balls. And I'm supposed to derive meaningful baseball information from this fucking stupid process. And so I made it one of my many missions to reimagine the whole thing. And so I spent a shameful number of hours doing that and mapping it out and setting up different metrics and ways that we can measure these kids. And, of course, I did this whole thing using our home Little League park, which has 2 main fields and a t-ball field and good space for us and a batting cage.
Despite it being under ice.
Right. But I needed this process to have a home, and I imagined the home happening at our home Little League field. Of course, I'm doing all of that, yes, while it's under a foot of snow and ice. And so naturally, of course...
they're going to be on ice skates. It's going to be great.
Naturally, of course, we couldn't actually use the plan that I had meticulously developed for this thing, and I had to audible and make it work at a secondary location. And... it fucking worked. It
was way better.
We
should always do it there.
It came off great. We did it at the county high school. They have
a turf field.
A turf field.
You don't need that permit. It's open to the public, or like.
Well, one of our little leaguers in our league is the athletic director at that high school.
Gotcha.
And so I was able to secure the facilities for the afternoon, and it was just fucking great. And yeah, was it chaotic and also sort of terrible in its own way because we'd never done anything like this before? Yes, but also at the end of the 2 days, like so, one day we did it outside. That was good.
The people would show up, and I was at a table, and I would check them in, like registered, cool. I would say, okay, now go over there, and when you get over there, something else will happen.
Right. Lori had no idea what was happening.
Someone might find you, I think. Just go that way now, please. Goodbye.
And somebody did, and reliably.
Somebody did.
And yeah, there are elements of this that I need to,
But now that we've done it.
Got to sand the edges down and figure out how the thing actually works. But now that we've done it, it's fucking great. The next day we had to be inside at a stupid gymnasium because it was
gross weather.
38 degrees and raining the entire time. But we planned for that too. Like we saw that was sort of going to be our only option, and so we got ahead of it, and I got that set up well, and it went great. Like it must be said, it went fucking great, and I look forward to refining the process and making it better in the future. That said, we are like just deep in it in terms of getting ready for this season, and it's just tire fire after tire fire, and I'm working with people who. God bless them. It's great. I appreciate this is an unpaid labor of love, certainly. And so any amount of effort.
God bless them and bless their hearts.
Right. Any amount of time and effort that you put into this is okay by me. At the same time, I'm dealing with someone's who at times seem to be searching for the next fire. Like, we have solved this problem, and now there's a new fucking catastrophe happening. Okay. And not an actual catastrophe, but like, oh, so we don't have to devote all of our time and energy to this. We can now freak out about this, which is something else to freak out about, I guess. It was fine fucking 30 seconds ago, but now we better freak out about it. And it's a little bit exhausting.
I can imagine, yeah.
When you think you've solved one problem, only to have three more problems pop up that aren't necessarily problems, but are just a fact of existence. And there's a fundamental disagreement about how things ought to operate that's at play here. And the thing that has driven me to get involved with this Little League is the opportunity to take something that I genuinely love, that I think is a genuine good in our town and for our kids and for the other kids in our town, and to mold it into something that is sustainable, to make it into something that works on the longer term. And that sounds arrogant when you consider that this has worked more or less fine for 30 years.
More or less. It's operated less fine.
Before we got here. And yeah, there are ways in which it was a mess before. But also they kept the train more or less on the tracks for 30 years without me sticking my nose in. So like that has to be, like, I respect that, right? Like that has to be acknowledged and respected to some extent. But I also recognize that the people that kept that train on the tracks aren't always going to be there. And when we took over from people who were no longer there, they forgot that there should be instructions for how trains work and where tracks go. Never mind how to get the train onto those tracks and then down the road. And I'm working with someone's who share my passion for this Little League, but don't share the belief in institutions and sort of like the underlying the necessary constitution of an institution is an actual constitution, is a system that allows for us to follow a set of rules that have legitimacy by the fact of their institutionalization, right? Like, but the fact of the Constitution that exists as undergirding gives the whole system legitimacy. We are not just going to be a social club run by philosopher kings who make all of the decisions and then expect people to listen to us based on our alleged expertise or our alleged inherent goodness, right? Like,
and the reason we're not going to do that is because this is a little league.
It's a little league, and we won't be here forever. Right. Like, even if we're here for 20 years, we're not going to be here forever, and somebody else is going to have to run it. Right. And it would be awfully good to be able to open up a binder or a Little League Bible that says, hey, this is what you do. These are the rules that you abide by because rules fucking matter. And not like, oh, but I'm good, and I make the right decisions for these children, and therefore you can rely on me.
And another problem is that the precedent that's been set is that the people who run this have 30-year terms.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. So they don't see the appeal of creating a process, a system that can be repeated and having
not if the process stands in the way of your desire to exercise control right now, right? So like if the process that I'm creating stands in the way of you getting what you want and you doing the right thing right now as you see it, then yeah, the process is just stifling and unnecessary.
Why is it important to get what you want when it comes to this? Like, isn't everyone like
a great question?
Because your motives are pure, right? Because you are here just for the children, and you are just doing what's right for the parents of our league,
or because you want to win.
Yeah, there's also some of that. Anyway, it's a lot, and it's a crazy amount of pressure. And I don't think I appreciated until the weekend was over how much pressure I felt. Because, like, again, I don't think of myself as being meaningful as anything more than a cog in any larger machine, right? Like, I don't think of myself as having anything really resting on me. But the fact of the matter is, like, fucking 300 something kids and 100 plus 150 families or something were like there to sit in judgment of this process that I put in place over the weekend. And like,
there to help.
Yeah, also to help, and also to help make everything go. But also, like, I felt the weight of the pressure of, like, all of these people are like, they're counting on me to have figured this fucking shit out.
Right.
And like, if I'm going to make the sort of drastic changes that I think are necessary to the long-term health of the league, it's all on me, right? Like, I'm the one who's doing this. And there's going to be ample opportunity for people to be like, man, you really fucked this up if things don't go quite right.
Right.
And it's an interesting position to be in for something that, yeah, fundamentally it's just a little league for kids to play baseball in. But people take it extremely seriously.
But also, something that I have been experiencing is, like, this is front of mind. Like, we need more 12-year-olds. We need way more 13-year-olds. Like, we need a baseball team full of 13-year-olds. And how do we make this so that next year this isn't a problem? And my clients are like, what's been going on with you? And I'm like, oh.
You cannot possibly start.
Right.
Like, there's
it's too stupid to describe and boring. I can't tell you, but it's baseball stuff. And they're imagining kids want playing time, and it's just like, no, it's so much smaller and bigger. Like, it's just so awful.
Are you guys still in the thick of it, or have these unresolved issues been settled now? Are you guys in the clear for this
season?
Season?
Feel in the clear like a week from tonight.
9 13-year-olds and
hope.
2 11-year-olds.
Yeah, we could use some more kids, certainly. But, like, once we get, because the drafts are going to happen in the first part of next week, once we get clear of the team selection and assignment process, it will feel less insane, probably. But again, like in previous years,
then baseball starts.
Right. Like the lift is just getting started. Like the daily down at the park doing baseball stuff every day for 3 months is just beginning. And like to have piled all of this on top of that, I knew it was a big job. I don't think I appreciated the amount of...
It shouldn't be as big as it is for just you.
Yeah, but at the same time, like it's thoroughly impossible to imagine this getting done by committee in anything like a reasonable amount of time. Because it's just not something that can be done collaboratively unless you devote like a work week to it, and people don't have that. That would be insane. And also, like I don't know. Like, there's a reason that James Madison wrote the fucking Constitution by himself, you know? Like there's a reason, like, in order for anything, if you're going to make any goddamn decisions about anything, it sort of has to come from one or two minds. Right. Like, it's just not something that can be done by a dozen people. Right. Not to put myself on but that is Madisonian or Jeffersonian level here.
Certain efforts, it is a diminishing returns proposition when you add more people to it, you know?
Right. And to some extent, like, it's important to stress test it, but like you have to put it down on paper before it can be stress tested. And you can't, like, 6 people can't put something down on paper. I don't believe it's actually possible. Right. 1 person, 2 people can put something down on paper, and then the collaboration can happen. Right. But not before then.
I think probably like the best system would probably be like whatever the Supreme Court system is, where they have like some smart like clerks. But the direction is, you know, the judge tells you, okay, this is the direction I want, and then they kind of fill in the gaps, and then they can revise, and then they can kind of...
It's a good point. You know. I should hire 6 clerks, and then I would be
6
fine.
Law school graduates.
I clerked for Bob Howard.
That's right.
Money
James
now.
Madison is who they clerked for.
Yeah. Did we even engage with anything else on the cultural front, or was it just...
Bob, we did not. We watched a little bit of YouTube.
Yeah.
And the Olympics was still on.
Yeah, we were still watching the Olympics, I guess.
I watched the America's Next Top Model documentary.
Was it negative towards that Tyra Banks, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's not worth talking about.
I read an interesting article by someone who felt themselves victimized. That's maybe not fair, but essentially victimized by the America's Next Top Model industrial complex.
Yeah, I mean, it was. There's a lot that was wrong with it.
And I felt some empathy for the individual who wrote this.
Do you remember who it was?
Piece? No, it's some Substack I read.
Oh, not like a former contestant?
No. Just a girl who grew up watching America's Next Top Model.
No, I don't care.
Well, but it's making the point about like the magazine industry and the modeling industry and how
that was there before and after America's Next Top Model.
Absolutely. It's just while I have some sympathy for people who find themselves to be made to feel small or inadequate by mass media, I still like. I struggle to truly understand that, like, the notion of cultural weight about the way that you appear. And, like, I recognize that that's to be expected coming from a white male, right? Like that the argument, the immediate riposte to what I just said is, well, duh. You're
yes, you wouldn't.
You're the one who's supposed to be appreciating all of the things that are presented to you, not the one for whom you're supposed to be measuring up against and finding yourself inadequate. And to that I say, it's just nonsense, because I was a fat kid, and I've been a psychologically a fat kid my entire life, and I don't feel, and it comes down to this same sort of thing that we talked about last week, which is group identity versus individual identity. Right. I've never really been one to struggle with a sense of personal self that I guess is just like so many people out there coming up in the world have this a lack of a notion of self-identity And therefore, when they go to measure up against anything in the culture, they find themselves lacking. And it's just not something that I can identify with exactly.
But you don't choose
that either, It's also
either,
something,
right?
The target market is teenagers. And teenage girls, that's all they do. Without media, all you're doing is finding things wrong with yourself. Because if you don't, back in the caveman days, biologically, you're not going to reproduce if you're not desirable.
I've never wanted for finding myself to be bad or lacking in certain ways, right? Like I've never...
But there's a difference between not being insecure and it being the all-encompassing thought.
Right, and I think it's there's a narcissism at play in a lot of teenagerhood.
Yes,
that I guess that like to say that I wasn't an awful teen is to tell a silly lie. Of course, I was an awful teen, but I wasn't this like.
You weren't that exact kind.
I wasn't self-obsessed, I guess.
No, but you thought you were so smart. It was just different.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, when I see people talk about how, I feel bad because I didn't compare to the America's Next Top Model or the people on the magazine covers, it's like, well, of course you fucking didn't. And like, who told you that you should, you dummy? Like and the self-obsession that goes hand in hand with that is something that I don't understand, I guess.
It's fine that you don't understand it.
I mean, again, you don't choose this. You know, like if you have a stronger sense of group identity, it's not a choice. It's not like I chose to be the other way. But I will say, I just finished reading this book, Careless People, some former Facebook person who was dishing out all the evil things that this company was doing while she was working there. She's like, I thought that it wasn't going to be this bad, and it was bad. But there was a part where Facebook's tools were so specific that they could, for the benefit of advertisers to hawk their shit, they would use the opportunity, like 13 to 17-year-old girls. They would know when you took a selfie and deleted it, and they would say, okay, this person is in a vulnerable state. So this is the perfect time to show them a particular ad to make themselves more beautiful or to lose weight. Basically, they were so granular in their assessment of users to where they knew that, okay, this is the time to shove some bullshit beauty product in front of this impressionable 13-year-old person who's just trying to live in the world, and it's being told that you have to conform to these bullshit standards, and they feel bad about it, and they're like, yeah, feel bad and buy this shit.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's why whenever you say anything to Katie about what she looks like, I'm like, stop right now.
I mean, you're suggesting that I'm saying untoward things to our daughter.
You'll say her hair is frizzy or that her face looks pudgy. Like you're just stating, well, her hair doesn't look frizzy, but like you can't say anything negative to her about her appearance right now.
I am perfectly capable of telling my daughter when it looks like she could use more sleep or a shower. Like
no, a shower is different.
Fine.
Go take a shower is different, but you just can't. You can't. Or you got to pause. Hard stop with that.
We should definitely give our kids phones, huh? Is what that book that
I didn't say we should
No, I'm not
give them
talking to
phones.
you. I'm talking to Abe. And
the book goes to great detail to say that none of her colleagues, like Mark, Cheryl, all those people at Facebook, allow their kids anywhere near phones. Like none of them. The
comparison that you always made was to cigarettes, right? Even back in like 2009, I think, when we were talking about cell phones, you might have that particular comparison might go all the way back to then, and this focus on children and because Zuckerberg's been in front of Congress this past week, or not Congress. There's a lawsuit going on. Excuse me. He's done Congress many times in the past, but Facebook is actually defending a lawsuit that is being brought against them, saying that they purposefully harmed kids in particular. And the reason that these companies often settle these disputes and just pay money to make it go away is because they don't want to suffer the discovery process, where they have to turn over all of their internal communications and whatnot. Right. And there's all sorts of weird shit that's coming out. that, similar to the whistleblower stuff that you're referring to with the book that you read. But it's interesting that the concern at the moment is about kids, because like that's always where we start with these massive vices, right? Is we start by saying, well, it's fine if grown adults want to do this sort of thing, but we certainly can't let our children do this because it's bad for the developing brain.
Right.
And then only later do we start trying to restrict it on a further up the chain, right? Like we want to now ban smoking indoors. And it used to be that everybody fucking smoked everywhere all of the time. And then it was like, nope, you can only do this in the smoking section. And it's like, well, you know, we probably shouldn't be doing that inside at all. It's real bad for people who are having to suck all that shit in all day long, even if the secondhand smoke stuff was likely largely overblown. I wonder if your claim that this is a cigarettes-like thing that 100 years from now will be like, wait, you gave your kid a fucking phone? What, are you a fucking monster? What's wrong with you? Or if the alternative is more likely, which is though the form factor may go away, that the device itself will shrink and become sort of more adapted to our biology in a way, or more integrated to our biology, I should say. Right. The plugging into the experience machine, which is the sort of neural interface that we have with the software, is that actually likely to go away? Are we capable as a society of pulling back from our interaction with these devices in the way that we have sort of essentially through, yes, the incentive of government regulation and excessive taxation? Way fewer people smoke now than they did, right? Through education and taxation and regulation, vast majorities of Americans no longer smoke. Do we have it in us to pull that off again, to pull back from the brink of something that is perhaps incredibly dangerous to us, now more psychologically than physically?
I think it's much more difficult when it comes to phones, because not even at its peak, not everyone smoked cigarettes. You know, it wasn't like everybody was smoking, but just about everybody uses phones. You know, it's like this.
Yeah, since cigarettes didn't do anything useful except meet cooler kids.
Right. Yeah, give you the opportunity to meet people. Yeah. And
like you call someone on a phone.
Right.
You use a map.
Yeah, and so you'll always have it on you. So basically, it's now closer to like food, where like the obesity rates are. Like, how do you get and there's not going to be like a GLP. There's no like GLP technology for phone usage, is there? Like, if you took a pill and you're like,
although
because it curbs addictive behavior.
The claims that the GLP-1 people make are that it's sort of a miracle drug for almost all negative human behavior.
Did they say like alcohol and like other
behavior,
things? Yeah.
Coffee?
Really?
Yeah, your appetites are just meaningfully reduced, including the ones that are have negative consequences for you. So yeah, maybe.
Do you think that's gonna create like some sort of like shock to people's identity? Because like if you are, people identify around their behaviors. I'm a smoker, I'm a gambler, or I'm a food person, and then you take this pill, and like those noises just disappear, and you're like, who the fuck am I now? Like I'm not like driven by any of this stuff.
Well, but that's the thing.
Like,
it doesn't make you not want the thing at all.
Okay.
It just makes it not this like constant. They call it food noise.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I still like this piece of chocolate cake, and now after 5 bites, I'm finished.
Yeah. Wonder drug.
Give it to me, please.
Yeah, I imagine it's not unlike. I mean, I've talked before about like how my relationship with alcohol becomes problematic when I'm thinking about it more, right? That like if I get to Friday and it's like I realize on Friday afternoon or something that I have been thinking about getting to Friday so that I give myself permission to then have a couple of drinks, that's where I start to feel weird about alcohol. And it's like, well, I need to reevaluate this whole thing, because I shouldn't be like the organizing principle of my week shouldn't be, oh, can't wait for Friday when I can fucking finally pop a drink. Like, even if I drink precisely as much, the problem is the mindset that I have on Tuesday night where it's like, looking forward to Friday when I can finally have a fucking drink.
Yeah.
Even if at the end of the day, at the end of the year, I figure out, I had 89 drinks this year or 147 drinks this year. The problem is not the number of drinks that I had, although perhaps the physical toll when I'm 85 will tell a different story on that front. But the real problematic behavior is how am I relating to it as the week goes on? And I imagine that like what these GLP-1 drugs can do is if you're a person who fixates or thinks a great deal or obsesses over one's appetites, it makes that process sort of less overwhelming, I think.
Right.
At least that's what I've gathered from mostly the Plain English podcast, where Derek Thompson is just obsessively focused on these Ozempic-like drugs and talks about them a lot, including an hour-long interview with, like, the president of Merck or something, which, like, all right, I can handle like getting on somebody from some think tank or some research university who is secretly a cheerleader for these drugs. Yeah. It feels a bit much to bring on the CEO of Merck.
At least it's straightforward.
Yeah. All right. Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then, and we will talk to you next time.
Later.
It's funny because it's like I'm not a person who like is in the thick of it and is like, I could just not do this. Right. Like I could just not. And I like that thought crossed my mind. It's like, wait a second, I could just not. Like I could just
been
right
the strategy
now,
in the past.
I could say Katie's going to go play softball across town, and Calvin's just not going to do this. And I could just give my keys to these people, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
I have zero respect. There's nothing anyone can do to me.
What if the community shuns you? You know, now you can't show up to the grocery store.
Okay.
Oh, there he goes.
You know what this community does? All it does is shun people. That's the entire relationship, the entire interleague relationship in this avenue is shunning and bad blood. So it just works.
I can just be an angry memory in like in 5 minutes.
Fucking Bob.
I could just be, that piece of shit, and it wouldn't affect me at all. It would be fine. I'd feel bad for like one guy and a couple of kids, and that's it.
Well, if you're deciding to quit, let me know ahead of time so I can bet on it. You know, inside information. That's right.
Put it on the Kalshi app. All right. Well, enjoy your weekend.
Yes, I will. Oh, I forgot to mention
happened.
This bogus month. I just stumbled on a non-drinking thing. So like on Sunday, I'm gonna resume my drinking March 1st.
Oh,
It's
good.
very nice and
Like,
quick.
how did you stumble on
February.
Like if it was February, I was like, I'm just gonna stop. It's a nice 4 week. I just like the February. It's nice and 4 weeks. You know, 4 even weeks. I was like, I'm not doing anything anyways.
Doesn't have anything to do with Lent or Ramadan or
No.
anything
Although
like
Ramadan
that?
has
started like
yes.
a week ago.
I was gonna say, how's your fast going?
Oh, it's not going at all. My mom was asking, like, have you started? It's like, not quite. There's this totally made up.
She still keeps the faith that you're gonna fucking fast.
I can't shake her. You know, my dad never asks. You know, but mom was like, oh, come on. It's like the winter because the sun isn't out as long. You know, because in the summer, it's a bullshit thing. Like 14 hours of daylight. It's only like 11 hours now.
Yeah.
Easily doable.
I was telling Calvin about like Lent and Ramadan and how it's like I was essentially praising the instinct, right? Like there is something inherently good about the discipline and sacrifice that goes into giving up something that you like or care about for an extended period of time. I was like, so what would you give up for Lent? And Katie says, well, he wouldn't give up video games.
I mean, she's right.
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.